while, you know, in getting to know some of these women who were going for the certification, there are two parts of the certification. There's the actual riding end of it, where you have to be able to ride a test, and that part I feel, you know, very confident in.
Mm-hmm.
My writing skills, you know, I don't know why they would. I felt like I had it nailed. I could have written that test in October, and it's really the second part of the test is you're actually teaching a class,
Okay.
and you're teaching with all the standards that PATH has put in place.
Gotcha.
And they are extremely meticulous. And while I think I am I don't know if I'd say a gifted teacher, but the way I teach and the way I articulate, and the way I move my students into doing what needs to be done, I think I'm very capable, but it's fitting into their pegs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult, and I think that is a sort of a barrier. Every time I think of it, thinking, oh my gosh, there's a huge expense, not a huge expense, but it is, and you know, it's expensive to go ahead and certify, and all these women who had such great hopes at the beginning of the workshop, their hopes were dashed until the next time they certified, and they had to spend all this money again to do it. So, you know, it was a little unnerving, and that may be part of what I'm feeling of, like, trepidation.
Okay. If you had to, maybe this is a little forward, but I guess the thing to ask is, what is it that you're afraid of the most?
I guess it's, I don't know, I'm nervous about being tested with my peers.
Okay.
In the lesson plan, I've made, for years I made lesson plans, and, you know, I didn't have a problem doing it, but I was very nervous for these women when they had to perform their lesson plans,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow, I wonder if I would remember all of this, because there's a tremendous amount of hoops you have to jump through to do it just their way. And I, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit of a rebel, but what I have to realize is that once I have my own practice, I'll be doing it just, you know, I'll be doing it the pathway, but I'll, you know, sort of interpret it my own way.
Right.
But it's just getting it right and passing the test that, you know, is sort of, it's test anxiety. I've always had test anxiety.
I think everyone, it's a human thing.
Right,
Everyone has a little bit of that.
Right.
Some of my patients, we try to figure out what it is that makes them anxious about tests, and it can be as simple as changing the color of paper that the test is on. Changing the way that you think about the test is a way to kind of dissolve that anxiety.
Huh.
So, kind of thinking about that, what is something that you think that could alleviate that fear? Because it sounds to me like what you're feeling is this. You have this, when you talk about it, you have this, this exuberant confidence and, like, kind of twinkle in your eye about what you can do, and, you know, like, loving what you do and being good at what you do. And then, you know, it changes when you think about having to
take the test.
Yeah, take the test.
And fit into their,
right, and do it
fit
exactly
into their
right.
norms.
Right. So what would be something that you think that would help with that anxiety? Is there any way that you could prepare?
It's preparation.
Preparation?
It's preparation.
Okay.
Of course it is. It's preparation.
So think about, tell me about some of the times that you've had this test anxiety.
Right.
When you originally started out with something, and
right.
then, I mean, was there?
It's just like when I was in school for speech. I took a speech class, and when I realized that the people who were doing the speeches before I drew my stick, the ones that weren't doing well were so poorly prepared. So it made me realize it's all about preparation. You just can't really, you can't wing it all the time. And
Mhm.
I have always been able to wing it, and I guess now it's the time for me to be really prepared.
Mhm.
And in order to be prepared for this test, maybe I should be teaching more.
Okay.
You know, doing more student teaching.
Right. So that would kind of go
That
into
would
it.
be
Okay.
yep. Getting more student teaching hours in before the test, which is a little bit difficult again because of the weather,
Right. Right.
but not impossible.
Now, one of the kind of exercises that we do is we ask our patients to kind of think about what would you tell a friend in your situation? If a friend came to you
Right.
and said, you know, hey, I am anxious about getting certified. These are my reasons.
Right.
You know, it's getting to this final point. Pam, what do I do? What would you say?
I would say, in fact, I just said it. Just never turn it around. Dorothy, let's go and let's make up a lesson plan. I'll write it for you, and then we'll find someone and you teach it, and then I'll teach it. And we just did it. I just did this with a friend of mine.
Who's going through the same?
Yeah. She was one of the women who didn't pass.
Okay.
And yeah.
So you think you could take your own advice?
Right.
That's the hardest thing.
It is.
Once you get it out, yeah.
Right.
Is it possible to work with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. In fact, she just retired, so. Right.
Okay.
It is interesting. I just never thought of it. Because I felt so bad for her, I was thinking of her.
Right.
I wasn't thinking of me.
Sometimes it's, you know, it's
Well, actually, maybe I was thinking of me because I was thinking, oh my God, if Dorothy didn't pass it, how am I going to pass it?
Right. And I mean, having a friend that has taken it already
Right.
and almost gotten over that, because once it's all on the table, you know, you get over that anxiety.
Right.
You know how it
Right.
was, and even if you didn't do well,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you've seen the worst of it.
Mm-hmm.
So practicing with that friend and kind
Role
of
playing.
Yep. And just discussing your own fears, because it's something that she's gone through too.
Right.
And you know, with the other 12 women that you said,
Right.
it's all it's no situation is the same, but there's a lot of support, you know, that can come and help you.
Right. And it's just asking for it.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, it's not just helping you. I mean, you can at the same
Mhm.
time go and you know, you work together for a
Mhm.
project.
Right. And it just never would have occurred to me. And I do networking for my business, but not for something like this. And
Mhm.
that's what it would be about. It's just going back to the whole network of actual therapeutic instructors that I have in my area.
Right.
And asking for their help. Right.
And it's a good way, you know, to have that commitment and to keep motivated and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to have someone to go with and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow.
yeah.
Wow. Sort of breakthrough moment.
No.
It's harder.
No, actually, I think the breakthrough moments are the hardest parts.
Right.
And then the next hardest parts is making it a reality.
Right.
But once you
Right.
kind of hit that point, you kind of, it's like a clearing, right?
Mhm.
It's like a
Mhm.
lifting of the fog, and you kind
Right.
of have a straighter shot of, you know, where you need to go and what you need to do to get there.
Huh.
Good. All right. So, Pam, when we meet next week, I'm gonna send you home with a little homework.
Okay. Looks good.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. It's none of
Right.
the you know, like putting it on paper,
Right.
nothing like that.
Right.
We might do that in the future.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is you go home, and I want before next week you to be signed up for that registered online.
Right.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
All right? And
I can
then
do
after
this.
that we can work for the next one.
Mhm.
Maybe get in contact with some of your friends.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, hey, Sharon, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. I will see you this time next week.
I'm just hoping that I get that push. I think it did give me a push.
Good. So I
Thank
like to
you.
hear. Absolutely. Thanks, Pam.